So it looks like you mostly got through this. I'll go ahead and run through this anyhow. I would draw a graph. Like on the exam, I'm going to ask you to graph any question like this. It would have these same things, and also you would have to graph it. If you didn't want to graph it, in the right here under syllabus and textbook, there's a link to the OpenStax Pre-Calc textbook, which this is section 10.1. And if you go down here, they give you, here is the math you would do to find the coordinate of the vertices, dependent on if it's the parallel to x or parallel to y. And then you would just have to memorize these little formulas here for finding it. I'm really poor at memorizing, and to me this just would just bounce off my brain, and I would just draw a quick picture. So let me show you that version, just to kind of go with what you did. And then it looks like this one is a little bit dicier with these foci, so let me show you that while I'm here as well. So for this one, we have this equation, and so that means that we know A is 5, and we know that B is 3. And so if we're going to find the endpoints of the axes, I could just graph this thing. So our center's at 0, 0. 5 is our A, so that's our major axis, so right there and right there. And then I can just read those points right off the graph, and so this is negative 5, 0, and 5, 0. That's what you have right here. And then likewise, the B is 3, so that's right there and right there. And you can just read those points right off of the graph, which is what you have there. And then you did a squared minus b squared, made c squared, and it looks like you successfully found that c equaled 4. And those would run along, since this is parallel to x, those would be on the x-axis, and then you could just read those coordinates right off. And like I said, on the exam, I'll ask for that anyway, and you would just kind of draw something that sort of looks like an ellipse, and that would get that one done. This next one is a little bit more interesting, in that the foci are a little bit harder on that. Oh, the thing I was going to say back here, standard form, I don't know if you saw it in the directions of the homework. Oh, it's in the intro, so I'd have to go back, so I won't. But when you first open it up, where all the videos and stuff are, it will tell you a bunch of problems, give you the numbers form, and then tell you that the way that this is looking for this in standard form, I'll write it a little bit bigger over here. It's looking for 5 squared, which is the dumbest thing ever, but I can't change it. And so that's the equation in standard form. Either one of those on the exam is totally fine. I think this is dumb. I wish they just did 25 and 9, but they don't. So that's what you need to type in that box right there for that one to work out. Let's take a look at this one, though, because that one's a little bit trickier in terms of the foci. So grab one more graph. Back over there. So this one is this x minus 3 quantity squared over 9, and then plus y minus 1 quantity squared over 4 equals 1. So our center is positive 3 and positive 1. And I should probably call that, I'll go center so it doesn't look like C. That doesn't really look like center either, though. Do that. So graphing that, we have x is 3 and y is 1. And then we know that A is 3 right there, B is 2 from right there, so again this one's going to go side to side. And then we, it looks like you successfully got C was root 5 by doing 9 minus 4 would be 5, so C squared equals 5, and C would equal root 5. So here's where you can again plug into those formulas, and all you're doing is plugging in the H and the K and then adding and subtracting the A's, B's, and C's. I get really mixed up as to which thing I'm doing in which direction. And for me, it's much easier just to go, this is parallel to X, A is 3. And so my major axis is right there from the center. So I'm just counting over 3 and over 3. My minor axis would be up 2 and down 2. And that seems so much easier to me than like adding and subtracting, 3 minus 3 gives me 0, so that would be the y coordinate or the x coordinate on this one, and then 3 plus 3 would give me 6. But without that picture, I'm really likely to get mixed up on my lefts and rights. So if you just do that, and that doesn't even have to be a very good sketch, you can easily get the endpoints for the major and minor axis. So then for the foci, that's where I think it's a little bit trickier. This root 5 is about 2.2, and you wouldn't want to use that in the answer because it wants the exact form, so it wants the root 5. But let me just sketch on here where those would be, because to me it helps me write the foci and get them correct if I do that. So it would be about 2.2 this way and about 2.2 that way. And so if I think about what that would look like in terms of the foci, we are starting at x equals 3 right there, and we're either going plus 2.2 or plus root 5 this way, or minus root 5 that way. So plus or minus root 5. And then the y coordinate on both of those points is at 1. And there's your foci. So if I have that picture, I can see I'm moving off of the 3, either plus or minus that, and I don't get mixed up as to which thing is getting the negative plus or minus 5, which looks like you had a little bit of that going there. So to me, that's the easiest way to do that, is with a picture. And again, on the exam, you'll need to do that. When you go to take this quiz, or actually even just doing this homework, and this goes for like the next 3 sections, the rest of this chapter is much like this. I would say print some graph paper, just so you can do like that much of a graph, and it'll help you a bunch get those points all in the right order. Hopefully that helps.